Hi, I'm Brooke and welcome to another Brooke review. So today is going to be a really exciting Brooke review for two reasons. One, I really enjoy the book, and two, I wrote it. So I've actually had a couple of comments from people asking me to review my own books, so that is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to be completely honest about it as well. So I'm going to do this in two parts. Part one is strictly going to be the Brooke review itself. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the plot, the characters, all of the stuff that I usually do. And part two is going to be about the process that it took to publish the book and to write the book, just because I thought that would be a bit interesting for some of you guys watching this. So let's go ahead and begin with part one. Let's see. Alright, this is book one. It's called De Couleur Palais, which is French for pastel. And pastel is the name of a city in the sky. So, that's actually one of the cons I have about this book, that the title is in French, because it usually turns people off. They're like, what does that mean? And then they don't remember the name of it to look it up. But the book is in English, and I really only used French because I thought it sounded pretty. And I thought it kind of suited like a mystical city in the sky type thing. So that's why I used French. But this is book two, and it is called A Battle of Fate. So no more French titles. Alright, so I'm going to review book one. I'm the author. It says so right here, Brooke Harrison. And the genre of the book is like fiction, fantasy, and I would suggest it for ages 10 and up, just because the first book is a pretty easy read, and it's actually, I mean, younger kids could read this book. No content that would be unsuitable for younger children. But as I get into books 2 and 3, which is on its way, I think the plot thickens a little bit, it gets a little bit more confusing, and this one has swords on the front, so that might not be suitable for younger ages, I'm not sure. Alright, so I'm going to read you the back, and then I'm going to give you my own little brief description. So here we go. On the back it says, "A City in the Sky." Creed Sky had a pretty normal life, until she turned 7. Of course, a city in the sky could hardly be called normal, but it was all she'd ever known. Then, at the age of 13, her journal fell down below, a place unknown to Creed and the other citizens. 6 years later, on an incredible journey to find the journal, Creed is caught up in a web of excitement and adventure. So, she's a 13-year-old girl who goes on this, like it said, exciting adventure to find her journal so that her city in the sky isn't found out about. She doesn't want anybody to learn about her city in the sky because her other citizens don't want the city to become known. And at first, it's a little bit slow. It's kind of boring in the beginning, and that was another one of the things that I disliked about this first book. I mean, it takes a while before the action kind of picks up, but I'd say about halfway through it gets a lot better, and the people that have read it have told me that they really liked it towards the end, and the second book is much better than the first. So keep that in mind if you happen to read this and you're like, gosh, this girl's putting me to sleep. But I think my intent in writing this was to please. I mean, I just wanted people to read this and smile and to laugh and to enjoy reading it. But there is another part of the book that I also found really interesting that where I'm actually informing the reader, because in Creed's journey, the main character, she goes to Italy, and so the fantasy world kind of mixes with the real world, and she learns a lot about Italy and a lot about that area. So I thought that was pretty cool. You know, I didn't think that was really something that has been done before, where, you know, you have a fantasy city and then you have a real city, and, you know, it mixes. So that was one of the things I really liked about my books. And there are a couple of other twists in the story that I can't tell you, but I mean, that's pretty much the overview of the book. So, like I said, I've already mentioned Book 2, which is A Battle of Fate, the sequel. And I'm working on Book 3 as you're watching this video. It is in the editing process, so hopefully it will be coming out soon. But a couple of other things I wanted to mention before I'm done with part 1. I haven't said this in any of my other videos, but I actually have a blog. It is www.brookeharrison.com, and I will put a link to that in the little bar beneath this video. So if you want to look it up, you can comment on any of my posts. I mostly have poems on there right now, but I put occasional notices, and I have pages that inform everyone about my books and what's happening, and I have a couple of videos on there too. So if you're interested in these books, you can find them on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, BooksAMillion.com, CreateSpace.com, but I don't think anybody really knows about that. So, but there is a link on my blog, BrookeHarrison.com. So thanks for watching part 1, and leave your comments or opinions below. And if you want to hear more about how I wrote these books and my inspiration and what it took to publish them, go ahead and look at part 2.